What up, y'all? It's your man ES the Herman Star back again with another video, and I'm here to do the general read for the sign of Scorpio. So if you have Scorpio in your chart, sun, moon, or rising, this is for you. What's happening, Scorpio? I don't remember if I had a nickname for y'all. I be forgetting everybody's nicknames nowadays, but yeah. Anyways, what's up with y'all? Happy that you're here. If you're here with me, if you would like a personal read, you're able to book that with me by sending me an email. You can find my email in the description box below. Just know that there are scammers in this community, so if there's anyone reaching out to you claiming to be me, offering you reads, offering you anything else, it is not me. All right. So let's see if we can get at least one more card for you. Anything else? I mean, these two jumped out. Why not? Sticking out. All right. We're going to get you through this, Scorpio. We're going to get you through this. We start off with the Six of Swords in reverse. Emotional baggage. I feel like I've talked about this with you in the past before. Now, I won't say fairly recent past, but I feel like maybe sometime last summer, and we're approaching summer. You know, I do believe the weather was to my liking the last time we've talked about you in emotional baggage. Okay, and go check your Scorpio playlist, of course, if you want to see where that is. I do a ton of readings, so I can't tell you which video is which, but that's why I have the playlist there for y'all to go check them out. All right. But it's, yeah, like I said, emotional baggage, you know, and I feel as though it's emotional baggage due to like you constantly finding it difficult to let go of a past situation, you know. But from what I see here with these cards, Scorpio, you're actually blowing this out. You're blowing you're blowing things up to be worse than they really are. Honestly. You know, I think this has to do with maybe a past, I won't say a past relationship, but it could be. Honestly, can't really tell what type of relationship it was. Or situation it was, that or whatever the past thing it is. Again, I would better get an understanding once I do that personal read with you. But I feel as though this is like something of the past that you're making it seem bigger than it really is. How am I trying to say this? Because I don't want to move on to the next card yet. I feel like whether this was, I'm going to use an example of a past relationship. Not saying that it is, but I'm using that example just to try to make things simpler for me to convey the message the downloads that are coming right now. So, with that being said, I feel as though like maybe you and someone else in like a past relationship, right? Things didn't work out, and you're trying to move on, because the Six of Swords, when it's upright, it's moving forward. It's forward movement, right? It may not be the most fast forward movement, but it's still moving, right? You know, it's moving at a slow pace or just at a pace that is appropriate. You know what I'm saying? Not everything has to be fast paced, right? Now, I'm a Virgo, so of course I like slowness, but like, I'm just saying, not everything's got to move at a rapid speed. Nonetheless, I feel like you want to move on, you're trying to, but just you're thinking about maybe your part in the breaking up. Again, using the example of a past relationship, right? But honestly, Scorpio, and I'm not saying this to toot your horn. Scorpio, do scorpions have horns? They don't. I'm not saying this to toot your horn. You know, I don't think that situation was your fault. Or I don't think you are to blame as much as you're blaming yourself. Now, in a way, it's kind of noble-ish that you're taking accountability for your part in this separation. But I think this is gonna sound weird, but you're being over accountable for the separation, where it's like not all of it was your fault. You know, you're making it seem as though you were like the worst individual, or you were, again, the complete reason as to why things didn't work out between you and this individual, when it could simply just be, when it could be they. I'm not getting their energy here. This is straight up your energy. It could be them that was actually the reason, and you know, they do a great job at gaslighting and making you feel as though that you were the reason why things didn't work out and why things could never work out between you all. Or it could simply just be something as simple as you guys just weren't meant for each other. You two just weren't meant for each other. You know, and again, I'm using the example of a relationship to try to convey this message. Whether that is the case for you or not, you would know. But take what I am saying and apply it to whatever situation it fits, if it's applicable, of course. If none of this applies to you, don't force it. All right. Now I'm comfortable to move on to the next card. You got the Knight of Wands in reverse here. So this is someone who lacks self-control. Someone who could be very inconsistent, but very domineering as well. You know, again, if we're going based off of this is being you, yeah, this could have been, like I said, I'm not saying that within the example I gave, I'm not saying that you didn't play a part into why things may not have worked out within the can't say past now. Now I can say it. Past relationship. Right? I'm not saying that you're totally innocent, right? It could be a work situation, right? Where you were, you know, in charge, or a group effort thing where you were in charge of or not necessarily in charge, but you are a part of the group and you took on the role of a leader, of someone who was large and in charge. But you did so with this whole domineering aspect, right? And, well, I can tell you right now, people don't like that. People don't like that. People don't like it, especially if it's a group setting to where you all come together and the agreement was that there is no necessarily leader of the group. There's just you all pulling your weight together. But you attach that title to yourself still, and you wanted to be, again, the domineering individual. There's nothing wrong with taking control when you're like, okay, I feel as though, you know, when there's need to, right? But, you know, it has to be, and again, this is the card of inconsistency as well. I feel as though when there were times where you could have stepped up, you didn't. But yet you want to be seen as this domineering, controlled individual that should be trusted with that type of responsibility. If you know, who's going to trust anybody who is inconsistent? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I haven't been the most consistent with the reads and stuff, these general reads, but I've been there. I missed Friday, but I'm giving y'all a live stream Monday. So it's like, that's why I took Friday off. But what if I was really, really like way worse inconsistent with these reads? Y'all wouldn't trust me. Y'all wouldn't trust me to give you, you know, your read every. Now I don't read for every sign every week. You know what I'm saying? The plan is to read for 9 out of the 12 signs every weekend, you know? So obviously there are going to be 3 signs that are left out on a weekly basis, right? I don't choose the signs. I like I said, I put the signs through the generator. The randomized generator chooses the signs. You were chosen to get a message today. Obviously, as to why you get a message today. Alright? But I'm giving that example of you wouldn't trust me if I was inconsistent. if, this was outside of tarot, right? And I was, you know, um, we had a partnership to some sort, and you expected me to show up so I could do my part, and I didn't, you wouldn't trust me again with being a leader or being someone that was capable of, working with you, whatever the capacity is. So I say all that just to say, Scorpio, if you're like upset about a situation like that, you can learn from it, no doubt. But it doesn't seem here with these last two cards that I would pick up in a few, of course. It doesn't seem here that it's actually like the separation that may have happened is totally your fault. You are not perfect, but I feel as though the other members or the other individual you were in a relationship or whatever the case was, they had their flaws too. And it just so happened that your flaws and their flaws meshed together to the point, not meshed together in a good way, but meshed together to the point where it created a separation. Not something that you all probably wanted to do or probably wanted to create. I can't speak for you all. I can't speak for you, but I get the vibe you didn't want that separation. I don't know about the others. Maybe they wanted it. Maybe they were plotting being as bad as they were, or just sabotaging the situation here. Hence why I have to go back and again say that it's not totally your fault. You're not 100% of the blame for this separation here. Reason why I keep saying that is the Eight of Swords. Self-victimizing, self-imprisonment, essentially, right? Fear of like just inadequacy. But the thing about this card is it's self-imposed. It's not someone else you tying yourself up. This is, the card is supposed to be a visual of a woman who is blaming herself, punishing herself for, something, whatever, the story is about between the woman with this card or behind the woman on this card, right? But she had punished herself. No one else tied her up. No one else is going to take any of them swords and lash her up or cut her up. It's the stuff she's doing to herself. How this is symbolic with your situation here, again, you're the one that's actually more upset with yourself about this separation than the other people are. Because I get the feeling, and again, it's the only type of energy I'm getting from them, right? I get the feeling they're not, like, they knew exactly what they were doing. That's all I'm going to say. They knew exactly what they were doing as far as what their actions that would lead to the result that what it led to, this separation. So I'm inclined to say that they were sabotaging things from, I won't say from the beginning, but from whenever this moment came. You, on the other hand, because you're so damn sweet and nice and caring, you're like thinking about your part, and I get that, and that's. I encourage everybody. I encourage myself, everybody, to always think about our part in whatever situation: the good, the bad, the ugly, the not so ugly, right? The pretty, right? Think about your part, but you can't. When I say think about your part, that's not a blanketed label of blame yourself only. No, it's simply think about your part. Think about your aspect. Yeah, we see here that you may have been someone who was very inconsistent or very much domineering. Okay, but that's not the total story here. The rest of the story, which makes up the total story, is you are with somebody or with a group of people who also had their flaws. And from what I was, from again, what I just said, the vibe that I get is that they knew their flaws would eventually be will cause friction amongst you all, right? They didn't care because that's what they wanted, to sabotage this situation here. So stop blaming yourself for someone else's. The evil genius in me is like, it's kind of smart. You make someone else feel as though it's fucked up. It's gaslighting, of course, but you make someone else feel as though they're the problem when you know you're the problem, but you don't express that you're the problem. You don't make it obvious that you're the problem, but you know you're the problem, but you're the problem on purpose because you want to mess things up here. It's messed up, but it's evil genius. You know what I'm saying? But stop blaming yourself for that, is what I'm trying to say to you, man. Like, stop blaming yourself for it. It's not totally your fault. Again, you had your flaws, but it wasn't the... So, and even if it's a situation where someone, you're going to comment, you're going to say, well, still, I was inconsistent. Still, I was domineering. Still, I lacked self-control. Still, all the things of what this card is symbolic of in reverse, right? Still, I was that, and that's a problem. Yeah, again, great that you acknowledge that. But if you're with somebody or with a group of people that are sabotaging what you all have, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what attitude you bring, what vibe you bring. Their goal was to sabotage this situation. So that was their goal. That was what they wanted. You can't control that. And that is not on you. That's not what you wanted. Clearly, this shows that that's not what you wanted. You know what I'm saying? Or at least that's what I'm getting here. That's not what you wanted. So you wasn't aiming to sabotage things or to ruin a relationship. You know? But that they did. That's what they wanted. So no matter how you showed up and your highest self or, your lowest self, your shadow side, your light side, they clearly wanted to sabotage, clearly to me, let me just say that, wanted to sabotage this situation. Can't tell you why. That's the vibe I get. I could be totally wrong. No fortune teller. I'm just using the gifts that I have been blessed with it, trying to help you out with this situation here. All right. Your last card, though, is the Strength in reverse. This is the stuff that I really want you to get out of because, again, once you have now, the great thing is the Strength card is still present. Just like with this card, the Six of Swords is still present. It's still present. It's a reverse, but it's still present. Meaning that, you... Maybe after this read, maybe after some time of reflection, maybe whatever, right? Hopefully soon. You'll find the strength and courage to just move on. Move on. Stop blaming yourself again for something that you had zero intentions of hurting. It will be a totally different read if you meant for things to go the route that it did. But I get the feeling that Scorpio, at least you weren't trying to make that happen. On the flip, I do get the feeling that the people or the person you were dealing with did want things to go in that direction. That's what I have for you as far as the tarot go. Pretty intense one, but I had to let you know. I had to help you out. Anyways, we're getting into the Oracle card right now. Before I choose a card, I would like to remind you to please hit that like. A card already fell out, but I'm not going to read it yet. Please hit that like, comment, share, and subscribe. All that stuff is greatly appreciated. Yeah. I know this nigga is probably gonna call, so let me Let me turn down the volume first. All right. Anyways, let's get into well, we got into the tarot, very intense. Let's get into the oracle. Choose wisely. This card shows up. I feel as though out of all the oracle cards I've read for thus far since I got this deck, this has been showing up the most for all signs, not just you. You know, this may be the first time it showed up for you, but for a lot of the signs, it shows up a lot. I get this card a lot. I'm surprised I don't remember what it says, so let me read it. Decisions shape your path amid challenges. Stay open to learning as answers reveal your destined journey. Yeah. You know, first, stop blaming yourself for the outcome of this situation here. As I've stated, I get a strong feeling, or I get a feeling that, you know, you're not the total story. The story that you're telling yourself that you're to the blame for the separation is false. You were not perfect, but it's not, you didn't sabotage the situation purposely. They did, though. Again, I don't want to beat that point into I've already beat it into a mush at this point. So, yeah. But as far as this journey goes, like, again, stop blaming yourself. That's number one. Find the strength and courage to move on, as the strength card in upright, if it was upright, suggests. It showed up in reverse, but that does not mean that you can't flip that. So now that you know the strength is within you, flip the cowardice, the insecurity, the self-doubt, the blaming yourself, flip that in, again, to courage, right? But also move on with this journey, with your journey. You know, what's next? Whatever is next for you, Capricorn. Did I call you Capricorn? I meant Scorpio, but I just did the read for Capricorn. You might have Capricorn in your chart. But Scorpio, yeah. You know, as you continue moving forward, the Choose Wisely card says, answers will reveal themselves. You might find out. You might find out that what I said was right. Yeah. Not a fortune teller. At least I don't think so. Anyways, we're going to leave it off here. I'm going to love you and leave you, Scorpio. Alright? Don't sting me, please. But if you're going to sting something, sting that like button. Comment, share, and subscribe. And, yeah, thank you for trusting me for being your intuitive reader for today, or at least one of your intuitive readers for today. Personal read, shoot me an email in the description box below. All right? Y'all take care.